G'day guys, Darcy and Jace here. Today we're talking about the bottom of the foot, otherwise known as plantar fascia, and the muscles also that are intertwined and connected into our calcaneus bone in the arch of our foot. Now I'm treating a lot of clients day to day and I'm seeing a lot of arch pain and foot pain. So today I'm going to, why it's topical, I'm going to show you how we treat it here and rehydrate and get that fascia but also that connective tissue to operate the way it should. But Jace, we're doing a foot treatment.
Yep.
We certainly need your shirt off, mate.
Oh, do we? All right.
We need your
So
shirt
it's
off, mate.
essential, is it?
Yeah, it's essential. Come on.
All right.
Get face down.
Yep.
Now, Leo, I've got a little, we probably don't need a towel. I've got it on my phone because I wanted to show you guys the layers, okay? So what we're focusing on, what I'm looking at here is the calcaneal tendon and how all of these muscles actually attach onto that area. So we've got our flexor digitorum brevis, see how it spreads up into our second, third and fourth toe. Then we've got our adductor hallucis, which is important for the movement of our big toe, but again, attaching onto that calcaneus, which is our heel bone. And then again, adductor digi mini of the foot, which comes just right out to the fifth toe. And then last of all, I'm going to show you the connective tissue, which is our plantar fascia. You can see that there, the outer layer. So deeper to that, the outer layer of our connective tissue and that fascia, that's what gets dehydrated and jarred and sore when we're considering being really forceful and putting a lot of impact through our foot. And that might be from running, that might be from just walking with poor biomechanics. So we're going to focus on Jason's right foot. So, all right, what I like to do is wax up my knuckles and hands, and then I'm gonna get into that there. So again, what I do is I connect with that calcaneus because we could see that all three of those muscles connected into each portion of that bone, that heel. So what I do is I just like to put a little bit of force through there, have a little bit of a feel of where maybe the sore spots are. And people complaining of plantar fasciitis, like general symptoms are sore pain in the arch, especially upon mornings and first wake. So when you first connect with maybe it's a hard floor, maybe people really pronounce that and are more common to feeling it when they're cold in the mornings and when the muscles aren't warm. So essentially, the reason why our treatment is so successful and effective is it actually warms the tissue up and it hydrates it and gets blood flowing into that area. So essentially that's what we're giving it a go and just getting some movement through there, but also loosening off what's become really rigid, really solidified and hard and full of adhesions, which essentially send pain signals back up to the brain, and yeah, you're in pain all day. So that's what's happening.
Oh, it's good up there. Yeah.
So just having a little bit of a feel around. What I'm going to do, even if we have to pause this, I don't know much. So what I'm finding is I was getting a little bit stuck. So I'm actually going to get a little bit of wax up Jason's foot. Now what can happen also to our arch and to our foot is our joints become very compressed because of our footwear. So our toes become jammed in and really compressed like that. Essentially what we want to do is get barefoot or get into some wide toe box shoes where it allows our joints and our muscles to spread, especially our bones, because having those compressed, essentially our little intrinsic muscles in our feet, which there's many of them all through here, become dormant and weak. And essentially you get weak feet, weak plantar fascia, weak flexor digitorum, those muscles that we went through earlier. So not only do we need to treat the foot, we also then need to strengthen the arch. And a really simple and logical thing to do is just get out of shoes, start to walk on the grass, start to walk on the sand, the dirt, the clay, the mud, whatever you got. And you'll start to feel that just by doing something so simple, you start to feel that the muscles in your feet become alive. They wake up, they start to become stronger. And also walking bare feet, you're more present, you're more aware and conscious of the way you walk because you don't want to jar your joints, essentially your Achilles, your calf, your knees, because there isn't a really nice foam-like cushion to save your feet, to save your muscles from hurting when you jar them and land on them too forcefully. So simple but effective ways to do it. All right, so I'm just moving through there, Really good. Getting some flow. Yeah. Nice. What I like to do, maybe come around here, Leo. So calcaneus bone, that heel bone, we saw where they all attached, actually treating on top of that where the fascia, the outer layer, the casing of the muscle originates, because it comes down here and connects all the way over to the foot. So just getting some flow through here. Now you can get little things like heel spurs as well. Look, it is, there is actually a lot of people out there that are living asymptomatically. So they've got heel spurs upon a scan, and they don't even realize until they start to get foot pain. And then you go and get a scan, and the specialist says, oh, you've got foot pain because of that heel spur. Well, you probably had that heel spur for, could be as short as 5 months, but it could be as long as 5 years or even longer. And you've been living with it without pain for such a long time that now the diagnosis is, yep, we're going to blame that. But essentially, it could just be the fact that your feet are really dehydrated. They're not very alive. They haven't had the opportunity to strengthen the muscles within the foot, and you're essentially just blaming that little heel spur that's been there, living there for a long time. Cool. So, what we can also do is break down those calcified spurs. So those calcium buildups, those deposits, those osteophytes are sometimes just needing a little bit of a shave, a filing down, and essentially what my thumb is doing is clearing that gunk, breaking away that extra collagen and moving it. So that's really simple, working it like that. And then what I really like to do, Leo, is wipe my nose, is get my elbow, wax that up, grab Jason's foot, get control, and then I'm going to hit right into this hot spot. That's like a really common area for plantar fascia pain, heel pain, arch pain.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah. And it's just sinking in, melting that really solid point. You'll find knots in the tissues. You'll find really fibrotic tissues that are essentially overworking, or maybe they're underworking. Maybe they're trying to create stability in an area of weakness. So simple enough, have a little play around with that. Once upon a time, our feet were like our hands, you know. We could grab things with our feet as well as we could with our hands, and we use them. And if you watch a child, if you watch a newborn, anywhere from the ages 1 to 3, where you're starting to put them in things like gumboots and shoes, right? And they're starting to walk, okay? They find it really challenging to do that from the beginning with these unnatural things that we call shoes. So have a go. Well, if you've got a newborn, if you've got a 1-year-old or 10-month-old that's just starting to walk, wherever they're at in their journey, get them out of shoes. Do it the natural way. Do it the way humans were designed to move, out of shoes, in bare feet. Feel the surface, get a good grip. You know, that humans were designed to walk without them, and you know, society says we need them and whatnot. And yeah, they're great, absolutely. Look, I couldn't go for a big 10K run in barefoot because I'm not conditioned to it. But if shoes were never invented and we always did it, then maybe we would. But anyway, let's have a little feel around there. So just getting some blood flow, some circulation. Pinning the sore points. You can do this from home as well. You can like play along. You can do this to your partner, but you can also just use a ball, cricket ball, softball, baseball, whatever you got at home. We like our lacrosse balls. Sorry, Jace.
That's good. Oh.
Now, much like our calves are the springs of our lower limbs, you know, they give us that nice floating buoyancy. You know when runners just look like it's effortless. Essentially, I think that they've just got really good mechanics, right, all the way up from their head all the way down to their toes. But when we're considering what a healthy foot looks like, we should think of how soft their landing is and how graceful it is for them to purchase the ground and then spring off it. And our plantar fascia and our muscles in there are really responsible for that movement. So play along from home. Stand on a ball. Don't have one just here. Stand on a foam roller. Hydrate the tissue. And get the muscles moving. Okay. What I like to do, sorry, JC.
No, it's good.
Just gripping his big toe and just getting a little bit of movement, a bit of a joint mob, so I can feel the separation between that joint there. I'm using this to, you know, see how you can see that stretch, open and move. Just get things flowing in there, so a little bit faster. You can pull on these big toes as well. You saw how that flexor digitorum came into those toes, and you saw how the hallucis came into the outside of the big toe. So getting some movement for these like channels. Think of them, you know, think of this like that. You know, we're trying to open up these channels. That's where we're going to feel blockages, sore points. So come out wide. Just give the foot, you know, a bit of love. It's forgotten about. And it's a really simple thing. You don't need orthotics. You don't need over-compromised shoes that have a thick layer of foam and heel support and arch support. It's actually taking you backwards on your journey. So using the thumb to do some gouges. Really good. Okay, another spots are here. So we've got our tibialis posterior that comes in through here and connects into the bottom of the foot. Sometimes we are diagnosing or misdiagnosing what plantar fascia pain is for an overcompensated tibialis posterior, which is that muscle medial to the calf. So again, we want to get this tendon and consider,
yes.
That's why it's really important to know your anatomy and know what muscles interact with each other and where they insert. The foot's really an interesting one. There's so many little joints and so many nerve endings, and it's a sensitive area, but it's just so good to... I love a foot massage. Like,
it feels good, doesn't it?
Feels good. Especially the amount of barefoot training we do.
Oh, through there is good.
Yeah, so he liked it there in that true arch. Look, if you've got flat feet as well, I wouldn't be discouraged that flat feet is the reason you've got foot pain. A lot of people living out there that are like the best athletes in the world. LeBron James has the flattest feet. Who's a sprinter, Jace?
Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt's got horrible feet. And he's the fastest man alive. Yeah, we can argue and say, oh, if his feet had a high arch, could he be quicker? Who knows? He's the fastest man in the world. You're not going to argue with that point. So sometimes blaming your postures and what you were born with, or your it's not a deformity, but I guess your dysfunction. Yeah, thanks, Jace. Dysfunction for your mechanics or why you've got pain. It's just labelling it, and I think we can look further deeper into some simple stuff by simplifying our treatment methods and just getting in there and getting some treatment and not trying to fix it with these orthotics or fix it with those shoes like we mentioned earlier.
Oh boy.
I think high arches might be more of a problem than flat feet. You know, high arches, people that are so strung out on being on their toes and overcompensating for not wanting to have flat feet. They get stuck in supination. Their foot doesn't pronate, and all of a sudden they've got knee pain and hip pain. If you've got knee pain and you're watching this video, we need to understand that our ankle and our hip are more than likely responsible for what's going on in your knee. So that's for another video, but just know that maybe treating your plantar fascia, treating the muscles that connect into the bottom of the feet and into the arch are going to have a ripple-on effect in the way the rest of your limb feels and operates. All right, we saw before on the phone, on that anatomy chart, that those three major muscles that are in the bottom of the foot connect into our calcaneus, big bone at the bottom of our foot. So what I like to do is grab each side of that, which is not going to look like much if you're on camera. So grab each side of that calcaneus. And I love this. This feels really good.
Oh, this is great.
This is great. Is just get some movement and some separation between there. You might just need to do this.
Oh, I feel a couple of clicks in the ankle as well.
Yeah, it feels good in the ankle. Yeah, and that's also something to consider. If you're not getting relief from this type of treatment, well, you might not be seeing the right practitioner. You need to come in and see us here in Ferntree Gully or Richmond, but also maybe it's the ankle that's really stiff and not operating and moving well. We need to get some flexibility and mobility back into those ligaments in the ankle. So that's a simple one. You can just do that. Have a little bit of a feel here. Have a go at that major tibialis tendon. And while we're doing that is just make that more soluble. Make it soft and supple rather than rigid and hard, and just, you know, grab the toes, do some dynamic stuff. So create space in there for blood flow, for circulation, and just rehydrate that tendon and also that ligament that's crossing over in there, that ATFL. Have a little bit of feel. Maybe you want to come on the inside. Maybe it's that there right next to the medial malleoli, and get some pronation and supination. So just getting that movement that's super important in the way that our body's meant to move mechanically through the foot. You want to make sure that your ankle isn't stiff. Stiff ankles lead to jarring, lead to joint pain, arthritis, these types of things.
Oh. Yes.
Stiff shoes lead to stiff ankles.
Oh, it's good.
Good spot, Jace.
Yeah, a bit of a click as you were moving it too.
Nice. Click, clunk, and a crack.
Opening up some space, yeah.
Opening up some space. Space is what we're looking for. Nice. And yeah, these tendons, they come in, they insert here as well. Yeah. If you've been predisposed to previous injuries in the ankle, you know, you've played footy and you've rolled your ankle, you've played basketball and you've hurt your Achilles or something like that. Getting just some hydration and getting some mobility and flexibility through this joint is super important for carrying on with your sport and carrying on with the gym or running or sprinting that you're getting back into or have been at for a while now. So little go for you there. Have a go at doing that at home. Treat your partner's ankle, get on the ball and focus on that plantar fascia. But otherwise, more importantly, get out of shoes, be more connected to the earth, be more present with the way your body moves, feel what you're meant to feel, right, without the distraction of the foam shoes. So as I said, if you've got arch pain, give that a go. Otherwise, book in online at melbournemusculartherapist.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.
Oh, thank you.